the internal needing where we feel we need people to understand us. We feel we need people to understand we've got OCD. Now that can become very compulsive and can also lead to anger, because what happens is we are in a position whereby we're saying to ourselves in our head that they must believe us, they must understand us, they must understand our struggle with OCD. But we don't need them to understand it. It's a preference, but the irrational belief makes it feel so strong. And that's what happens. So I used to feel that very much in my own journey. I used to think, God, they must understand me. They must really know what I'm going through. It feels so bad. People have to understand and see exactly what this feels like. But they don't. They don't need to. We don't need, there's nowhere that says they need to. There's no universal law saying they must understand us. They must see exactly what we're experiencing. And also, a very important point to mention is, how much do we know about other people, other diseases, other illnesses that people have? We don't know those. Like, I've got no idea about certain rare injuries of the hand, so I couldn't possibly understand what somebody would be experiencing if they had that injury of the hand. So why would we expect everyone to understand OCD? Yes, the term gets mistaken for just sort of tidiness quirk, which is incredibly frustrating, and we have to raise awareness to change that so the disorder gets more noticed and taken more seriously. However, at the same time, we need to remember that it's an easy mistake for people to make who do not understand the disorder. And when we are really angry, they must understand it. They must know what I'm going through and all that's going on. That's us completely in the cycle, telling ourselves with the strong irrational belief, they must understand, they must know everything that I'm going through. And that is what is fueling that cycle. So I think that's an important one, because it used to leave me stuck. I used to have so much frustration with that. And I used to keep thinking, oh, I wish I was in the future where there was some machine that could connect to my head, that they could experience and see exactly what I'm going through and realize what it feels like to be in this position, feel what that situation, exactly my experience is like. And I didn't need that. I didn't need my parents to understand. I didn't need my friends to understand. It would be better for me if they did, so they'd have some insight, but I didn't need it. All I needed was to accept myself as I was, realize, yeah, I'm suffering, it's finding it difficult and challenging. I've got a path towards recovery and working on that step by step, which is the path that I took. But initially, I was very much 100% behind. I've got to get everyone to understand this. They can't make a mistake if they don't realize the suffering. This is so bad. This is so unfair that this happened to me. A lot of that stuff was going on. This is so unfortunate that I am in this situation. I would rather have any other disease, any other illness than this, which was, highly around, sort of, when I'm in an angered state, then I could experience that and feel that. But in reality, I don't want other things. There's far worse things that I could have. But we often feel, oh no, I have to, anything would be better than this. This is the worst thing that you could ever get in life, which is completely exaggerated. With OCD, even when it's so bad, and I do know exactly what that feels like. You feel like you can barely do anything, you can barely function. Of course, extremely debilitating. However, at the same time, once you do get on top of it and start moving forward and start able to do things, it releases so much so that even though it will still be until you get further down the recovery path, you will still have chronic anxiety and chronic guilt. It's not that like overwhelming suffering that you feel when you're really in it. And you're able to do stuff. You're still able to eat. You're still able to walk. You're still able to see friends. You're still able to socialize, go on holiday, do all these different things that you want to do. And you can do all of that with OCD. Now, if you were maybe had lost your legs, you wouldn't be able to walk. You wouldn't be able to do different sports. If you had problems with your lungs, where you couldn't breathe properly, you may not be able to do certain sports. You may find you're very tired and want to go home a lot of the time, because they're all symptoms that, of course, OCD can mimic and make more challenging. But what we need to remember is all the things that we can do. We focus on things that we can't do and get very stuck in that. Oh, I can't do this and I can't do that, and this is the worst thing, and focusing 100% on that one thing we can do. We can't do, we miss out all the other things that we should be grateful for that we can do.